Brian Whitehorse broke a story where LeBron James, according to scouts, have been playing a lot more of the point, and he's been waving off calls from Luke Walton. He hasn't been looking for the bench for calls while running the point. And this has been the whole narrative about LeBron James essentially taking over LA, running the show, so to speak. They've been saying that a lot in the media, running the show, which essentially means that LeBron is not going to acquiesce to what the organization wants or what the coaching is calling for. He's going to just do his own thing like he did in Cleveland. And the scouting report is just evidence and proof of that. Even Magic Johnson tried to come out of the woodwork and say, hey, you know, that's not the case. We don't try to run everything by him. We try to run some things by him. He was essentially trying to save face. These are the same things that happened in Cleveland, waving off of the coach, LeBron calling his own plays, running the point when he's not supposed to be. These are the certain things that happened in Cleveland that aren't supposed to happen in LA, weren't supposed to happen in LA. These are things that Magic Johnson and the company said, you know, this is not going to happen. This is unequivocally not going to happen. I'm going to tell you, this report is very bad for a lot of people, not named LeBron James. And I'm going to tell you why. I got 3 reasons why. The first thing, this report right here, it marks the end for the Luke Walton era. Either sooner or later, this marks the end of the era. Because, number one, Rob Pelinka did not hire him. Usually when a GM takes over, they hire their own head coach, somebody that they feel can run the show, handle the team. You know, Luke Walton was a hire before Magic Johnson and company came into play. Magic Johnson, of course, says, well, hey, I'm not going to fire the guy, whatever the case is, because you guys don't remember, Magic Johnson is essentially the president of basketball operations. Rob Pelinka is supposed to be like GM / co-GM or whatever the case is. But at the end of the day, this is a guy that Magic didn't hire, Rob Pelinka didn't hire. So they really don't owe him any loyalty. So if the Lakers continue to struggle, Luke Walton's out of there. And apparently, this scouting report shows that. LeBron James is essentially ignoring him, sort of like he did David Blatt. We all remember what happened with David Blatt. They had like the best record in the East, and he still got fired. The Lakers are right now in the playoff hunt, and if a guy with the best record in the East can get fired, why can't a guy that has a team in the playoff hunt with a lesser record get fired? So LeBron is essentially ignoring what is coming from the coach, sort of like David Blatt. So right then and there, that proves that's all you need to know right there. LeBron James has shown a pattern of doing this, ignoring coaches and stuff like that, doing his own thing, calling his own plays. Even, you know, I remember a couple years ago with Tyronn Lue, he called his own play during the playoffs, and everybody was making a big fuss about it. And essentially, you could say like, hey, it's not supposed to be a big fuss because LeBron James is like one of the best players to ever do it or whatever. His basketball mind is brilliant, but you have to run the plays how they're called. I recall Scottie Pippen. Phil Jackson drew up a play for Tony Kukoc and for a game winner in the playoffs, and Scottie was like, "Well, if you run this play, I'm not coming out." He didn't come out, but the thing is, the team still ran the play and they actually were successful. So who knows if LeBron James would stop ignoring some of these coaches, that they would end up being successful. Another nail in the coffin for Luke Walton. Pelinka didn't hire him, and LeBron's ignoring him. You cannot ignore your head coach, especially if you're running a point. You got to know what's going on. You got to know if there's something else he wants to call. Just because you have one of the best basketball minds doesn't mean there's something that somebody on the outside cannot see to assist you. And this proves that why this is the end of the Luke Walton era. The scouts aren't even scouting for the game. They're just scouting for what LeBron's doing with the head coaches. They're not even worried about the game anymore. And what Iris has said, not a game, not 48 minutes, not what I do on the court, practice, not a game. Well, in this case, we're talking about the coaching, his relationship with the coaching, not the game, not what he does on the court, not if he goes left 40% of the time, right 30% of the time, not if he pulls up after he drives left or he drives to the basket if he's driving right. We're talking about his relationship and the little nuances of things outside of the game. The scouts aren't even worried about the game. They know that we're not 7 times out of 10 we could beat this team. That's how bad it is for them. And another point that this scouting report brings up for me is that LeBron James, he's what, 16th year, he still refuses to be coached. We saw it with Mike Brown. We saw it with Eric Spoelstra in Miami. where he was very reluctant to take coaching. Very even with Tyronn Lue, he's calling his own plays during the playoffs. He refused to get like on a low block when Eric Spoelstra was asking him to. He was like, you should be posting up a lot more. Post up, get some moves. Whatever. He was very reluctant to do that. He has consistently shown a fight against coaching, even if it's great coaching. Like Eric Spoelstra, they probably could have won 3 titles if LeBron James would have did one of the few things that he asked of him. You see what I'm saying? So just constantly refusing coaching. Even Coach K, Coach K had a really great story about LeBron James. He said when he first met LeBron, now everything is all good now. He said when he first met LeBron, he was talking to LeBron and he noticed one thing about him. LeBron would have looked him in the eye and he wasn't really taking him quite seriously the way that he wanted him to. And Coach K said he grabbed him up, shook him by the hand. He said, look at me in the eye when I'm talking to you. He said, that's something that we're going to do. This was on Team USA basketball. And that shows you that his reluctance to deal with not authority figures, but coaching figures, where it's just like he'll warm up to you if you're buddy a la Tyronn Lue. But if you're like a get down to business, I need XYZ from you, he's not really going to want to link with you or bond with you in that manner. And that Coach K story proves it. And this is the funniest thing because LeBron James is the kind of guy where he'll always say, well, hey, Greg Popovich is one of the greatest coaches to ever coach in our league. He's head and shoulders better than the rest. He has lived through every era, but he doesn't want to play for Greg Popovich because he knows Greg Popovich is like a Coach K kind of holds that kind of standard. You need to look me into my eye when I'm talking to you. You need to run what I tell you to run, or we're going to have a problem. If Popovich would chew out a guy that won 5 championships with Tim Duncan, LeBron James is fair game. The 16th year, he still refuses coaching, which it's weird because he's been so successful in his career, but to push away coaches this badly, it's just remarkable. It's just a testament to how great that he is. But think about this, guys. How much greater would he be if he accepted the coaching? Lastly, this report simply shows that LeBron James, he is not just a businessman, like Jay-Z said. He's a businessman. You get what I'm saying? He wants all the winning to be about him. He relishes the power struggle with organizations. He relishes the chaos. He wants everything positive about winning, win streaks, championships to be about him. Examples that we have to prove this is Kyrie Irving leaving Cleveland, where he felt like the organization wasn't a real organization because they were trying to acquiesce to LeBron James, and how he wouldn't get any of the credit that he deserved. A lot of people say, well, LeBron James brought a championship to Cleveland. A lot of people forget Kyrie Irving hit the biggest shot in Cleveland Cavaliers history. Without that shot, the Cavaliers do not win the championship. Same thing with without LeBron James' great game and averaging what he averaged, almost a triple-double or triple-double during that time. Hey, guys, without LeBron, you don't win. But without Kyrie, you don't win because Kyrie was averaging like 27 points. Ridiculous amount of, oh, my goodness. Just if you play back the finals and just look at what Kyrie did, it's just as impressive as what LeBron James did. Averaging 27 points, over 50% for the field, just ridiculous numbers for the finals. And that's why Kyrie left, because LeBron intentionally allowed for the media, for the press, and even himself to let it be all about, well, what he did, how great he played. He never really put his teammates on the pedestal for that championship, how he did in Miami, and how other players have done. Like, if you look at, like, Kobe Bryant's interviews winning championships, Michael Jordan's interviews winning championships, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, they consistently put a lot of the other guys on the pedestal, like right there with them. Like, I'm not these guys try to follow me. No, I tried to help the guys. They tried to help me. They made big plays and stuff like that. That's why Kyrie left. Another example we have of LeBron wanting all the winning to be about him. If you look about this. When he was in Miami, things going great. And he had another chance to re-up. When he started seeing the writing on the wall, like we might not be able to win as much, or people are only saying I'm only winning because I got Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, that really got to him. So you know what that made him do? I'm leaving Miami because I don't want people to think, well, my legacy was all about Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. I don't want people to think that they really helped me in my career. If you listen to how people talk about LeBron winning in Miami, it's as if he didn't play with basically one Hall of Famer, Dwayne Wade. Chris Bosh is, to me, borderline, but let's just say he played 2 Hall of Famers in Miami. People tend to forget about that. They're just like, do you see his numbers in Miami? Like, Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh didn't contribute to that. Like, they didn't help usher in the man that we see today, because he doesn't want that to be attached to his legacy. That's why he left Miami. It wasn't necessarily because guys were getting older, they're injured all the time. He just was tired of hearing people saying, well, you know, you got Wade, your team is stacked. That started bothering him because he wanted to win and to be all about him. Other players in the league also started noticing that LeBron wants all the winning to be about him. The reason why the Lakers have been unable to attract great free agents is just due to the fact that LeBron's legacy is superseding the talent that will potentially come in. So they know, if I play with LeBron, I can get to the finals, yes or no. But I'm going to be relegated to a role player. I'm going to get Kevin Love. I'm going to start losing a whole lot of touches. Where if I'm a free agent like Jimmy Butler, Kawhi Leonard, if I'm all these guys and I want to win, and I want to play with somebody that makes it easier for me, why wouldn't I go play with LeBron James? Because I have to change my entire game. I'm a pawn in LeBron James' chessboard trying to make him look better. I'm trying to help him win. It's not like we're trying to help each other win. So it's people recognize that, and that's why it's been so difficult for them to get the great free agents that they're looking for. The issue with LeBron James and the power struggle and him winning to be all about him is if or when they fire Luke Walton, watch them go on a win streak. It's sort of a similar thing that happened with David Black. When David Black got fired, they went on a win streak. Because that's when LeBron's like, okay, I'm going to play my normal way. Even with the most recent game, he only had 14 points. He did that on purpose. LeBron could shoot 8 shots, go to the line 5 times, he'll have 20 points. But he purposefully did that on purpose, just to let people know, and Luke Walton know maybe, or the organization know, if you don't do what I'm telling you to do, this is what you're gonna be getting from now on. Because it's a power struggle. He realizes it's a power struggle. And that's what it is with LeBron James. But this scouting report is bad for so many people and so many reasons. Hoops Junction, where hoops meets hoopla. Like, comment, and subscribe.